Welcome. My name is Christopher Peter. The NFL is deadlocked. On most issues this past week, the owners of the league's 32 teams were clearly decisive. They agreed to give teams more incentive to spur kickoff returns with a change to where the ball will be placed on kickoffs. They agreed that the overtime rules of regular season games should have the format as postseason games, where both teams get a chance to possess the ball. Although the overtime session will still only be 10 minutes rather than the full 15. I am glad that winning a division still matters rather than a team accumulating wins by succeeding with a weak schedule and not being competitive against the teams that know them best. Let's be honest. I firmly believe the Vikings were going home after their first playoff game regardless of their seed last year. The rule change that they rejected that I thought would have been a positive change to help show defense does matter is the removal of the first down for defensive holding. To get an automatic first down for a minor infraction always seems too much. The only penalty the defense can commit that does not bolster an offense's chance of scoring is an offside penalty. But the real big rule change was the reoccurrence of the attack on the Philadelphia Eagles, US fans, and a beautiful football play that data seems to show is a safe play. Unfortunately, the privileged players on the Green Bay Packers and 15 other buttercups do not like how the play looks. The argument against the play is sounding less about the actual risk to player safety and more about the whims of teams not able to rise to the challenge of trying to stop the play. This is a bad look for the league if they ban a play simply because teams are unwilling to rise to the occasion. Imagine if Major League Baseball owners decided to ban the cut fastball because no one could hit the New York Yankees Hall of Fame closer Mariano Rivera, or if the NHL changed rules because Alexander Ovechkin scored too many goals, similar to the people who complain about threes in basketball. There is no player safety issue. Just some privilege by teams and players that want things banned because thinking is too hard. Ironically, after teams were getting creative in their defenses against the play. Just a bad look and shows the lack of will that is being led by the town of Green Bay. In other news in sports about something changing the game that is hard to stop is in baseball where torpedo bats used by New York Yankees led to an offensive display to start the season. These new bats change the way the bat is constructed to improve the sweet spot for hitters and address the issue of bats breaking constantly. The onslaught happened in Milwaukee, not far from Green Bay, who probably wants the bats banned. But these bats are within the rules and the Yankees players were not the only ones that tried them. But their success will probably convince others to give them another look. Or at least that is what some baseball writers seem to think that will be the case. The burden will be on the pitchers to adjust and adapt, following an era where they dominated the sport to a degree. Now, the pendulum has swung a bit back in favor of the hitter. Let us bring Jennifer in to begin our conversation.
There are many voices complaining about the NCAA tournament this year because of the lack of Cinderella stories. Usually there is some program from a school few knew existed who won a game or two in the tournament, upsetting a blue-chip program. We all recall the run that Butler had to the tournament final, where an unfortunate bounce-out cost them the greatest upset in college sports history. These moments add to the lore of the greatest tournament in college sports and made careers for many players who would have otherwise gone unnoticed. This year seemed different. There were no major upsets like the kind we have seen in the past. The upsets were mostly a big-name program making the tournament but lower than normal beating another notable program. The smaller programs did not have a great showing. To the degree that many pundits exaggerated the situation greatly, calling this the death of the NCAA tournament. That may be too early to declare, as the Cinderellas can rebound next year and make an unexpected run. But I would be interested in why no team was able to at least make it to the next weekend and how the changing collegiate environment played a role. As college sports in general become more professional than amateur and players are finally getting compensation, the smaller programs must undoubtedly be impacted. Players that might have gone to the smaller programs for greater playing time are going to the bigger well-known schools in lesser roles because the pay is better. People have the right to maximize their outcomes and income potential. There will be some talent that will still be available to the smaller programs, but these schools will have to do a bit better to improve their brand appeal. Not only for the sake of their sports programs, but every person who graduates with their name on their diplomas. Many people talk about money changing college sports. This year's tournament may be the first real sign of how the change may be felt.
A big thank you to all of you in the audience. Your viewership is appreciated and valued. Please follow the Christopher Peter Review on social media and continue to visit www.crcreview.com for new episodes. Thank you once again. Until next time.